Okay. Good morning. With all the speakers and the advisory board members, front please. Good morning. My name is Judy Isaacson. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at buildout, Inc. and I'm also a member of the advisory board here at Mansfield Bio-Incubator. I want to personally welcome you, our distinguished speakers, our special invited speakers, and our friends and supporters of the Mansfield Bio-Incubator to Southeastern Massachusetts Life Science Campus for Innovation and Innovator. As an advisory board member, I'd like to recognize the team that is behind all of this. And if you can stand, Shelley Amster, Dr. Eugene Buck, he's right here, okay. Susan Hanlon-Dolan, me, yours truly, Mark Norridge, okay, and Gretchen Wilson. Okay. Thank you. All right, this is the way the program's going to go. We're going to have opening remarks in a moment, and then our keynote speakers. After the keynote speakers, we're going to have a ribbon cutting. After the ribbon cutting, lunch provided by Wolfie's Theory. And at 12:45, we'll come back and listen to all the presentations from the time. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the president of the Mansfield Bio-Incubator, Dr. Ross McConaughey.
Welcome, everybody. Please, there is plenty of seats. Come over here, sit down. Don't stand. It's a long. Yeah, it's a long story, actually. But okay, whatever. If you want, I can force you, but if you want, it's a nice seat in front row. But anyway, thank you for coming to celebrate our next milestone in our short history. When I was standing here 5 years ago in a dusty warehouse, I cannot in my wildest dream imagine that it will be state-of-the-art life science campus. And believe me, it would be impossible to make it on our own. We had a great help, first of all, from Canon Design Architect, with a Katie Courtney, I don't see her, but she will come, who, okay, I haven't seen you, nice to meet you. So she designed, I would say, innovative laboratory space that so interactive and so creative that when I pass through this laboratory, I want to take pipette in my hand and start doing experiments. Fortunately, I don't do that. And of course, all this will remain just a dream without timberland construction, which I saw David and his team, David, they did it. It was close to miracle because this project started in March 2020. when the pandemic struck the country and the world. And in spite of all limited funding and disruption in supply chain, they finished it on time and made a perfect laboratory, almost. But finally, it would be impossible without critical funding from MLSC, and I hope someone from there will be here.
Yeah, we showed up.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. It was, without you, it would be impossible. We appreciate your help. And also, we have generous contribution from Souza Family Foundation, who fills the gap. And this is a small tile, small piece in the intricate mosaic of Massachusetts biotech ecosystem. But it's important. You know that if in any ecosystem, one species starts to dominate, the ecosystem will disappear and die. The diversity is very important. We cannot have all concentrated in one place, even this place is Cambridge. It should be some alternative way to develop and grow the biotech in Massachusetts. And we here, our credit is we invite even humble and nimble ideas. We open door for them and we help them in any way. We provide laboratory, mentoring, training, and supportive community. And this, I think, is very important, and this benefits everybody. And we also provide the kind of alternative education here because we provide what is called experiential learning, when people can train right here in the laboratory and learn how to do new discovery. And you know, the new discovery can be in any place. No one can predict where is the next breakthrough in medicine or life sciences will happen. And I'm sure it may happen here. One of these companies that we listen later, they may be at the edge of this new breakthrough discovery. And of course, I will hope that all of you here will join our community. We're open to everybody, and we're ready to work together to move it forward. And now I want to introduce a great friend and supporter of Bio-Incubator from the beginning, the Mansfield Town Manager, Kevin Dewey. Please, Kevin.
Russ, thank you very much for the introduction this morning. It's great here to be with you. And as Russ started off today talking about the footprint that was here, it was just the walls of the building that were here at the time. And so I joined in the celebration with you and with Alex, the board. Certainly today, we are welcome to have the congressman with us, our state senator, our 3 state representatives, town manager Michael Borges with us today. We also certainly have Margaret LaForce representing the secretary here with us today, Ben Bradford from Mass Bio, and Ken Turner from Mass Life Sciences. We're here as a partnership together. And in Massachusetts, we certainly know how to get things done. So from the very beginnings back in 2017 and 2018, I remember Bob Coughlin standing here at the time and talking about energetically, right, how things and how important biotech and life sciences are important here in Massachusetts. And the future remedies are coming from the work that's done here. And Russ and Alex, right at the very beginning of the onset, said, Kevin, we see this opportunity here in Mansfield to create a sector that can be alive and grow and expand outside of Cambridge. We see there's other sectors happening across the Commonwealth. I know that Margaret will be talking about that in just a few minutes. But to see that alive and well here, this space was filled. And the partnerships together, the letters of support, and being able to get to ground number 2 And to be able to see the additional 15,000 square feet is absolutely fantastic here. We're proud to be a part of that with you. And it certainly is represented by all of the partners who are here today. We are so happy and congratulatory for you. And also, I want to point out the relationships that also matter. You know, there's certainly the things that you see in the partnerships with our colleges and universities, but also the partnerships that you and Alex have formed with Wheaton College, something to highlight. Having our young people, when you talk about experiential learning, it's here on the ground and it's happening. And I know that that's being replicated across the Commonwealth as well, but we are very proud that we're a part of that with you. And so in the continued good success and well wishes, we do have a proclamation here. I won't read it in the essence of timing, but our select board is also very proud of you and your future continued success here in the great town of Mansfield, and we'll continue to be here as partners. So congratulations. I'm proud to introduce Margaret LaForest today, represented as Secretary Kadili, and Margaret has been a wonderful force to work with. And certainly in my time in Attleboro and now in my 5 years in Mansfield, it's wonderful to be able to have you here representing the Secretary today. And thank you so much for your continued partnership. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Kevin. It's truly an honor to be here on behalf of Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polio, and Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development Secretary Mike Keneally. You know, you hear the administration talk a lot about this 351 municipalities in the Commonwealth. And a lot of the conversation about the ecosystem of the Massachusetts life sciences centers in Boston and Cambridge. But what Mansfield has done here with the growth of the Mansfield Bio-Incubator shows us that not only can life science ecosystem be grounded outside that corridor, it's thriving, it's growing, it's doubling in size. That is such a success, and we're so happy to congratulate all of you involved in this project. Kevin, to you and to Chris in your planning department, when we first connected and I was starting to pinch hit it down here in Southeastern Mass, you know, what you said to me was like, we want to make sure that the Commonwealth knows that Mansfield is open for businesses, and we want to go after those science companies, right? But you didn't want to just know that Mansfield is open for business. You wanted to be at the forefront of communities that were thought of to bring and locate these life science businesses. And we did a Team Massachusetts call like we do with our partners at Life Science Center and our partners at Mass Bio. And the site selection, Mass Econ. And there's a lot going into behind the scenes when these companies say, where can we go? And you guys stepped up. Like, well, we're going to join Mass Bio. We want to join Mass Econ. And we want to make sure that they know where Mansfield is in bringing us forward. And so we're so honored. You're right. It really is a partnership here at the Commonwealth. Congratulations to Mansfield for the Bio-Incubator expansion. We're so proud of your success. Congratulations.
Thank you, Margaret. I'd like to introduce the Diana Davis Spencer Chair of Social Entrepreneurship at Wheaton College, Dr. Imran Chowdhury.
Thank you. So, good morning, Representative Auchincloss, Senator Keeney, distinguished speakers, guests. I'm proud to be representing Wheaton College here as the Diana Davis Spencer Chair of Social Entrepreneurship. Our mission at Wheaton, so we're a liberal arts-based institution, but our mission is to combine theory and practice to prepare intellectually curious students for a world and a workplace that are increasingly interlinked. Our relationship with the incubator here in Mansfield is an important part of the work that we do and goes back a number of years. But I will say that in the past couple of years, it really started to blossom. For instance, this semester we have 2 students working directly here every week, in person and virtually, at the incubator. So Christina Sibiola. Christina, are you here? She's back there. And Nessa Suro. Nessa is right there. And a number of students who are working with incubator-associated life sciences startups such as Activa Therapeutics. In fact, a Wheaton alumna, Talia Carmisi, was hired in June as Activa's first employee. So we're really proud of her. And Talia, I'm going to embarrass you. So would you please identify yourself? So there's Talia. So, really just an amazing person. So she graduated in May 2002, so less than 6 months ago. Phi Beta Kappa and summa cum laude in biochemistry. She faced particular challenges, I would say, as an international student from Rwanda. For instance, she had restrictions on the kinds of training experiences that she could pursue. But she used, as she told a class of mine a few weeks ago, all the resources at her disposal to really maximize her opportunities. She worked in different labs. She developed, I would say, a stellar research resume, including winning just about every science award at Wheaton, and then writing an honors thesis on, I'm sure I'm going to mess this up, Kelly, on the removal of iron 2 from wastewater using black, green, and white tea wastes. So that was her honors thesis. And so thank you again for Kelly for all that you've done at Wheaton and for inspiring our students and continuing our work here at the incubator. And it's really through partnerships with organizations such as Mansfield Bio-Incubator, as well as institutions such as the Massachusetts Life Sciences Center and the Massachusetts Biotechnology Council, that colleges and universities such as Wheaton contribute to strengthening the Commonwealth of Massachusetts' position as a leader in global life sciences entrepreneurship. In particular, we believe the talents of Wheaton students, alumni, faculty, staff, and other stakeholders, including individuals such as Telia, Christina, Mesa, our amazing professor of practice in social entrepreneurship, Pavel Delgado. All of us can play an important role in helping to develop the life sciences and biotechnology ecosystem in Southeastern Massachusetts. So we look forward to continuing collaboration. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. I'd like to introduce the VP of Economic Development and Workforce at the Massachusetts Biotechnology Council, Ben Bradford.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by congratulating Russ and Alex and the advisory board. I joined Mass Bio about 5 years ago, and I think that the Mansfield Bio-Incubator was the first new member to join right after that. So it's been a pleasure to watch this organization grow. It's a pleasure to be back here for probably the 5th time and see the expansion that's happened here in Southeastern Massachusetts. For those of you who don't know, Mass Bio is the industry trade association representing 1,600 organizations across the Commonwealth and globe. And many people think, Mass Bio represents Boston and Cambridge, but that's not true. We represent North, South, East, and West. And, I grew up in Western Mass, and thinking about the conversations that I would hear from grown-ups and my parents, grandparents, the concern, the amount of investment that was happening in Boston and Cambridge, and only Boston and Cambridge, whether that perception is reality or not, who knows? But this is now an industry that employs 106,000 people in Massachusetts, across the Commonwealth. It employs good paying jobs, careers, whether it's in Mansfield, whether it's in Beverly, whether it's in Boston or Cambridge. So it's a pleasure to be here to support this growth. But I want to make sure that everyone knows that this does not happen organically. It takes intentionality. We look at the people that are in this room who have made this happen. Russ and Alex, self-explanatory. Kevin, you are one of 2 municipalities that is a member of Mass Bio. Think about that. Lynn and Mansfield are the only 2. And both of you are doing the right thing, being intentional about growing in Massachusetts. Mansfield Bio-Incubator, you're one of 2 incubators that comes across the country to the Bio Convention with us, and the other one sitting directly behind you. So thank you to both of you. Congressman, you understand this industry inside and out. You understand what it can do for human health, but also for economic development. We've seen the efforts that you've been putting in on the South Coast and up to Mansfield. Senator, thank you for everything you do for patient access. Brett Barrows, Phillips, Scanlon, we appreciate all of the support that you do with your efforts at the State House to make sure that we continue to be able to fund the next speaker and his initiatives for everything that they do here in Mansfield and across the Commonwealth. So I'll keep it short. Mass Bio is here to support the growth. Mass Bio is congratulating Mansfield and Mansfield Bio-Incubator. And we look forward to continuing the partnership with everyone here in this room for the next 5 years.
Thank you, Jen. Our next speaker is President and CEO of the Massachusetts Life Science Center, Ken Turner.
Good morning. I want to start by saying how pleased I am to be here with you. This week, by, I guess, happenstances, STEM week, right, across the state. And we celebrate education and bringing young people into the sciences and engineering fields with many events this week. Unfortunately, as you probably noticed, I'm limping. That's because I crushed my knee. And so I have waved off virtually every event I was supposed to be at this week, with the exception of 2. This is one of them. That's how important this is to me. As the President and CEO of the Massachusetts Life Science Center, for those of you that I haven't had the privilege of pleasure to meet, I'm Ken Turner. I took on this role about 22 months ago at the height of COVID. I had a chance to come out here and visit with you guys early on with Alex and Russ. I was so incredibly impressed by what I saw. Kevin and I spent time together talking about Mansfield and their vision for how to grow the life sciences here in this region of the state, which is totally consistent with my strategy for how we should be thinking about life sciences across the Commonwealth. And what am I talking about? Regionalization is what I call it. And what I mean by that is this. When you think about the core centralization of R&D and research in Kendall Square and in the Seaport District, that is vitally important to our ecosystem. And I am in no way, shape, or form trying to marginalize that, because that is the heart of what drives our ecosystem. But when you think about the opportunity to spread that access and opportunity out across the state, and what that will mean for everyday people in terms of jobs, that is what gets my blood up. That's what gets me excited. I came from a family of everyday blue-collar working folks who didn't go to college, who didn't have highfalutin certificates and that type of thing. In fact, my family was poor. But I know from hard work and opportunity, you can change your trajectory. There's a saying that talent is equally distributed, but access is not. And what I'm determined to do, with the help of folks like Kevin and leaders like my good friend, Congressman Arthur Kloss, and our partners in the legislature and other officials across the state, Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, leaders like that, is to spread that access and opportunity out. And so incubators like this represent that for me. So the investment that the Life Science Center made in the expansion of this incubator, to me, was a no-brainer. We've got to have more incubators across the state. We have to have more innovation if we want to drive our ecosystem and have it continue to grow. My friends at Mass Bio just did an economic impact report with forecasted that we are going to add 40,000 net new jobs in the next 2 to 3 years. We've already got 42 million square feet of life science space in the state, and we're looking to add another 25 to 26, so 50 based on which numbers you want to believe. But what that all means to me, beyond the gibberish of the math, is that we're talking about a huge opportunity to bring more people into our industry, to bring them into good paying, solid jobs that lead to a career, a fundamental transformation of their lives. If we want to change the income inequality gap in this country and in this state, you start by offering people solid jobs and careers. So incubators like this are fundamental to that. Know that you have a friend in this administration, know that you have a friend in government, and know that you have a friend in the Life Science Center, and by God, know that you have a friend in me. Every step of the way. Congratulations.
my pleasure to introduce Massachusetts Representative, the Honorable Jake Auchincloss.
Good morning. Nice to be back here. Months after visiting and seeing the new segment here, still under construction, and hearing your passion and your dreams and now seeing them manifest. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to the ribbon cutting to get this thing underway. Apologize for the stuffiness. I've got my own bio-incubator at home. So I used 2.5 when I started preschool, and my wife and I have been sick ever since. I grew up in a family of scientists. I did not go down that path myself, but I do try to be a student of science and the history of science. The 19th century was the century of chemistry, periodic table of the elements, and understanding how the various elements compounded to make new materials possible, revolutionized standards of living. 20th century was the century of physics. Quantum theory and relativity unlocked huge new sources of energy, changed the way that we lived and conducted war and so much else. The 21st century is the century of biology. The century of biology. The ability to engineer cells, to understand the genome, is going to have unbelievable impact, not just on therapeutics, which I think we can all understand and have seen already, but on material science, on agriculture, on construction, across realms that today are as yet untouched by biology. And this bioeconomy is going to be an unbelievable generator of innovation, of jobs, and of improved standards of living. And Congress, I'm happy to say, is waking up to this exciting reality. Just in the last term, I've been able to vote for big increases to the National Institutes of Health budget for basic research for some of the best and brightest minds, many of whom here in Massachusetts. I've been able to vote for the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act, which is propelling forward basic research across universities and is also generating more money for the National Science Foundation's regional innovation grants, which is going to help fuse together basic research with workforce and economic development, propel forward underdeveloped, overlooked regions throughout the United States. We've been able to get ARPA-H, the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, appropriated for, and now we're fighting for it to be located here in Massachusetts. Congress is passing money to fund good, high-quality life sciences. There's an understanding in government and in the private sector and across the scientific community of the potential in front of us. And there's also a lot of competition for which states, for which regional clusters get to lead the way in doing that. For the last 20 years, it's been Massachusetts, with the vision of Governor Patrick to start the Mass Life Sciences Center, and with the strong leadership of Ken Turner, who we just heard from, and continuing to run it, with the support of the state legislature, Senator Feeney, Representatives Barrows and Phillips and Scanlon, with the advocacy and organization of Mass Bio, with the ingenuity of so many state and local officials, including Kevin in Mansfield. We have seen that Massachusetts has been able to really take the lead in building the deepest, most creative life sciences ecosystem, not just in the United States, but in the entire world. And it's been called the Massachusetts miracle. And I gotta tell you, I actually really dislike that term. Scientists don't admit miracles. It's not a miracle, okay? It's work. It's really hard work. Raise your hand here if you work in the state or local public sector. Raise your hand if you do science, either at a university or for a company. Raise your hand if you're in a nonprofit capacity, whether Mass Life Sciences or Mass Bio or trade advocacy. Raise your hand if you're in the business community, investing and building businesses. Yeah, that's what it takes. Everybody in this room, across sectors, working together, putting egos down low and results up high. The competition is just going to get fiercer. On the floor of Congress a couple months ago, various delegations were advocating for why ARPA-H, this new flagship biomedical initiative, should be located in their states. And You see the movie Zoolander where they do like the walk off, the fashion walk off, there's kind of like that with each state like coming out with their pitch deck and their best argument why it should be there. And I gotta tell you, Massachusetts is very strong, but other states are getting stronger. North Carolina, California, Texas, Ohio. That's not even counting overseas. Singapore doing incredible things. Germany starting to step up. People understand what the life sciences cluster can do for their economies, the jobs, the real estate development, the knock-on multiplier effects for regional economic development. It's no secret anymore. And being in first place means that we got a target on our back. So having Mansfield take the lead, seeing the work that's being done here is so exciting to me, not just as the representative of Mansfield in the House of Representatives, but as somebody who cares about the trajectory of life sciences globally and somebody who cares about Massachusetts leadership in that sector for the decades to come. This is exciting. I'm looking forward to partnering with you in the years ahead.
Thank you. And last but not least, Massachusetts State Senator, the Honorable Paul Queen.
Wow, good morning, everybody. How do I follow those previous speakers? That is an impossible task. I do want to invite up to come stand with me, though, our representatives from the House delegation, Representative Barrows, Representative Phillips, Representative Scanlon. We were hoping with redistricting, we get one more rep to give it start with after that. I want you to be here with us because this really is a partnership, right? This is the team. This is the team that partners obviously with our local leaders and those in the state and federal government. You know, I was campaigning, this is the season, I was out this morning and somebody said, where are you going after you do this? And I said, honestly, I'm going back to the future. And they said, what is wrong with you? What are you got? And I meant it, and I was joking, but every time I come, and it's great to be here again, I realize the power that is within the walls of this space. Realize the power that is within each of you. Those that are doing incredible work here every single day. Think about the future. You think about the needs of people throughout the Commonwealth and this country and across the globe. That work is happening here. And as the previous speaker said, that doesn't happen by accident. It's vision. I remember when I first got elected, Representative Barrows and I met with Russ and Alex, and you know, of course, in their own unique way, told us what they wanted to do here. And we got off the call, and both Jay and I said, "Wow, they are nuts!" But I knew that despite the temporary insanity, that there was a vision there. There was a vision, and in order to make that vision happen, that vision a reality, we knew that they needed to partner with so many people, but that they were in the right place. Here in Mansfield, we heard from Kevin Dumas earlier, the town manager. Mansfield, and pardon the cliche, Mansfield is absolutely on the move. There's a community that is innovative, that is open, that's working hard to bring in industry, not just for the jobs, and that's certainly where a lot of my focus is, but so that Mansfield can be a hub. This region can be a hub of innovation, so that people that are in need, the people that rely on the products and the development that you're working on, that they know that that's happening right here. I see Michael Boyd from North Iowa. As a region, we've come together and said, we want this, and we'll make it happen with you. The Mansfield has been an incredible partner, again, with Mass Bio. Can't say enough about the work that Mass Bio does. We stood here years ago, I think it was mentioned earlier, with Bob Kaufman. He spoke not only about Mass Bio, but about why he cared so deeply about the work that was done by all of those member organizations. And Bob told us his why. Now we know here in this place, we know the how and the what, and that is all, you know, a lot people a lot smarter than me figuring that out. But what we all can share is the why. And Bob spoke about young Bobby, his son, and the treatment that he needed for cystic fibrosis. And then we look at the leader that Mass Bio has today, and my friend Joe Boncourt, and the issues that Joe and his family went through with his young twins. And that's his why. And then I read today that I think there was a company out here, and I hope you're here, working on infertility treatments, all right? So when you're doing that, something close to my own heart, seeing the struggles that many families go through. And that work that's being done right here can change lives, right here in Mansfield. From research and development to bringing a product to market, to hopefully someday widespread manufacturing right here in this region. That is what this is all about. The how and the what, that's up to you. The why, well, that is shared globally. That is shared across this country, across this Commonwealth, across the world. So continue that. Let that why drive you, whatever it is. Let that why drive you. The partners that you have, President Turner, I mean, you are speaking right to my heart when you talk about the opportunities that this industry can give to close that wealth gap, to give opportunities for those vocational schools that we all visit as representatives and senators on a daily basis, that are creating those skills so that those students graduating are ready to step in and work. They're ready to come to work. When we talk about the opportunity that this industry brings to this region and to our Commonwealth, my God, there is nothing that can stop us. But we have to keep our eye on the ball. We have to keep investing. We have to keep partnering with people like Congressman Auchincloss, which, by the way, we are blessed to have as an absolute dogged advocate in the United States Congress. And not only does he advocate effectively, and not only does he know policy, but you just saw how much he knows about science and how it actually knows the industry. We are blessed to have an incredible team here in Mansfield, in the state delegation, with our partners at Mass Life Sciences and with Mass Bio, with the Secretary Keneally and the Baker and Polito administration. You know, again, this is something, and we've been having many, many meetings and sending many, many letters, and you have to compete, right? You have to get in there and you have to talk about it, you have to pitch it. But the Baker Polito administration and Secretary Keneally, it doesn't take a pitch deck, it doesn't take a long-winded story. They know the opportunities that exist when we invest, when we partner. So I want to thank them specifically, Secretary Keneally and Margaret Lafarge, who I've known for a long time, for being here today to offer your support as well. Last time I was here was in December. We were taking a look at the place when they were building it out, myself and the representatives. I cannot wait to cut the ribbon on this new phase today. I wish you great success to all of you, to your advisors, to the board, to all the companies that are here in these walls, creating our future. Thank you so much. God bless you.
You could please stand up. She's the one who wrote the grant. And what I also want to say is Mansfield is the only incubator in Massachusetts and probably in the country that is the home of 4 women's health companies. So when I licensed this technology a year ago, built 3 daughters, it seemed the obvious place for me to land. And I was so thrilled to find out 3 others were here before me. So without further ado, I don't know who's running my slides. Yeah. I'm going to start, if you're okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to the 3 daughters, an evolutionary healthcare company for women. And our first evolution product is a novel intrauterine device, long-acting, reversible, non-hormonal contraceptive. And we're going to be a platform to everything that needs to be treated in the uterus without pain. Next slide, please. Thank you. So you probably want to know why more women prefer IUDs over the pill globally, but not here in the United States, because they are very effective, they're long-acting, they're reversible, they're basically safe, but more importantly, they're convenient. You don't have to worry about that daily pill. But if you look at the device on the other side, that is the copper T, the Paragard. It's the oldest. It's over 40 years old. It hasn't changed in over 40 years, and all 5 of the IUDs in the market basically look just like that. They have to be properly placed, they have that long dangling string, which is necessary for placement, confirmation of placement, and for retrieval. Next slide, please. This T-shaped design causes significant pain and fear, and the CDC even weighs in as if we could address the pain, more women would turn to an IUD, and we would have less unwanted pregnancies. A lot of women would say it's the worst pain they've ever experienced, worse than giving birth. Next slide, please. Our IUD is simple, smart.
Dan, can you
Next
come in?
slide, please.
We're working on it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm gonna read it.
Got it. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Our device is simple, smart, and sophisticated. It's based on physics and geometry. It's composed of these 3 tiny elliptical units with a magnetic core covered in a polymer and encoded in copper, a proven, safe, and very effective spermicidal contraceptive. It is ergonomic in that the 3 little units get fed through the cervical canal, the 3 magnets pull it together and gently float in the uterus and conforms naturally to the woman's uterine environment as it changes every day throughout the cycle. It adapts to everything, and it has a simple magnetic retriever that is necessary to pull them out whenever it's necessary. It will decrease pain because we're going to address several of the pain points that cause insertion, placement, and retrieval. And we're going to remove the fear factor that the young population is talking about all the time, and there will be no strings attached. Next slide, please. Our technology was invented and developed and commercialized by Dr. Carlos Gradil from UMass Amherst and at Tufts Veterinary School. He's a world-renowned reproductive veterinarian. And if you've been over to Franklin Park Zoo and seen some of the mammals that were born over the last couple of years, they're all his babies. And he helped deliver them as well. But he has proven with his device that he developed for horses that the data is so compelling. It prevented 100% of the pregnancies in the mares that he put this in. It retained 100% of the time, which means it never came shooting out. And the pre and post endometrial biopsies, which is the architecture of the uterus, were all normal. And when the device was removed, the following breeding season, they all bred and they had healthy foals. We licensed the technology a year ago, and there are US and European patents, and we're filing our own IP around the inserter retriever. And there's a lot of publications to support it. Next slide, please. It's a very competitive landscape globally, but not in the United States. There are only 5. And there are 2 devices coming down the track. One is in phase 3, but it's still T-shaped, but it's less copper. And there's a device from Israel that's coming here that's just filed an IND, and it's pretty cool. It's a ball of copper. But it has a perforate eye expulsion problem. And we're addressing all the things that make all of these the wrong decision. Next slide. This market, without any innovation, is going to be over $1 billion by the time we're ready for commercialization, just in the United States, and over 6 in the world. Can you imagine what would happen with innovation? What would happen when we finally address these fears? This is a device that is fully covered under insurance. The doctor gets paid for everything. Women want a non-hormonal approach. There's only one, and it's the biggest and oldest. We want to remove those barriers. Next slide. Younger women fear IUDs. They're the ones with the most unwanted pregnancies. And luckily in this state, it's not so much a problem. But think of all those young ladies that are going to have an abortion, maybe not the right way. Where was when I and my friends were looking for abortion illegally and unsafe. Next slide. We have an experienced team. This is not my first rodeo. It's not my partner's first rodeo. And all the people that we picked on this team are all experienced. That's why in less than a year, we've met all our milestones. Next slide. So we licensed the technology last year from UMass. After we told them we get grants,
We'll kick it off, we'll do translational science. We got 2 out of the start gate. We have 6. And in January, we kicked off our whole activities. We lined up someone to help us get what we needed from the FDA to know what our preclinical and our phase 1 data was. We got that in 6 weeks. Unheard of. We kicked off our prototype design, and by May, we had a working prototype, and we're now finalizing the inserter retriever. We just brought on an expert. I was an IVF for 40 years, so I brought in an expert on how they've improved embryo transfer. I'm going to use that technology to improve ours as well. We raised over $1 million in 6 weeks, and it was just extraordinary that a network that I've cultivated my whole career stepped up. And my lead investor, who gave me $500 in the bank the day he said he would, herded the others, and he's helping me raise my 10. We hope during this next month to kick off our preclinical studies. We're going to form the IP around our new thing. We're lining up our CDMO. We're bringing on a medical officer, and we hope that this $1 million will get us to the spring and be able to close on our 10. We're very excited about all this, and hopefully by the end of phase 1, we'll be able to license this technology to the right partner. Next slide, please. So after 40 years, do women have to put up with pain? Why are we always the ones that no one is doing anything about? 40 years. Well, we're going to change it. And we're hoping that anyone in this room who wants to help women finally address contraception and every disease in the uterus to contact me. Thank you so much.
Okay, to clarify, Beyond Biotech is here, but they're not presenting, so we can meet them at the table. I believe Matthew Iorio from India.
Yeah, Beyond Biotech. I want to make a PhD. I'm not Beyond Biotech. I want to make a PhD.
You want to speak?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to have a chance to make a speech here. Thank you very much. Today, I will not talk about the science. I will talk about a story. Let's study with a story, a real story. About 3 years ago, one of my sisters delivered a message to me. My lesbian suffered by a real disease, muscle dystrophy. So I returned to China to visit him. At that time, my poor nephew was very weak. He even cannot get downstairs. And he was a sunshine boy. And just 1 year before, he graduated from the college and got a decent job and actively play basketball on the playground. But now he's very weak. He even cannot move himself. It's too sad. And his parents spend all of the money to visit the hospital and looking for the hospital's help. And all of the doctor and the healthcare professionals told him there is no way to help him. Just get back, sleep well, eat well, and take care of him well in his rest of several months. It's so sad. And his parents know I'm working in the biological and medical research in the United States. They hope I can do something to save him. But at that time, I even don't know anything about the gene therapy. so I cannot do anything for him. After 5 years, I learned from the FDA there is genetic medicine for the muscle dystrophy was approved by FDA in the United States. But anyway, it's too late. My poor living had gone, and this is only survival chance. After 5 years, I got a chance to get into the US medical school to learn the AV's manufacture and the gene therapy program. And there, I studied hard and worked hard. I learned most of the skills of the AV manufacture and gene therapy knowledge. Just several months ago, with the incubator's help, I started up a company beyond biotech and developed a platform for AV manufacture. I hope I can do a little bit of contribution to our scientific community to speed up their gene therapy research of the rare disease. When people talk about the rare disease, the first response is that it's real and it's far away from the people I know and the people I love. But actually, rare disease is not real. Currently, there are more than 7,000 rare diseases was found by scientists. And this number is still going up. I hope everyone can do something to help our scientific community to accelerate the gene therapy research for the rare disease and bring a little bit of hope for the people suffered by the rare disease and their family. Thank you.
That was Hunting Yi Beyond Biotech. Our next speaker is Mario Ayario from 88 Pharma.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you need the mic? Or I think you need the mic.
Yeah, I can use my. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, as you guys might have noticed over at our table, we've got these coin organizer piggy banks. These are just giveaways. Does anybody want? Can I give out more of these? We're absolutely, thank you so much. So we're a small company, so when I say I hate you, I hate you. Into the reality. And I would hate that to make you go. So these are things that these are first. And if you guys look at the sticker on the bottom, you'll notice where you manufactured. Sure. Which is here, right? Actually, no, you don't have the sticker. I didn't get you guys stickers. I can put those on. Anyway, so these are our headquarters is here. So these are technically manufactured here. So these are commercial products that are technically manufactured in this very facility, which has got to be, some sort of a milestone. All right, so my name is Matt Iorio. My company is 88 Pharma. We were founded in 2017. We've been a part of the incubator for 3 years now. We are completely virtual. So this is our headquarters and our mailbox and everything else that sort of grounds us right here. Just one employee and one shareholder, so very simple, small company. And we're an S corporate structure, so we're an S corporation. Now, 88 Pharma, we develop intellectual property in novel packaging technologies and then bring those forward to commercialization. So we've got a number of different product lines, but they're all based over novel packaging technologies right now. So I'll show you how that sort of works. We've got a patent right now that's approved, and that same patent for actually the lid technology, so the sort of funny lid, childhood lid technology in that piggy bank, can be applied to other product lines, like our carapace, and like our autotoxy bottle. These are the full range of regulatory classifications. And I should mention that I've got my regulatory affairs certification. So I'm a regulatory affairs guy, so I'm very aggressive on the regulatory stuff. Like our autotoxy bottle, that is a regulated as a drug. So this is a full NDA drug development. And I say IND phase because I'm, like I said, I'm a regulatory affairs guy, so I can file IND stuff, even though in terms of product development, we still have a little ways to go for there. The carapace, this is a device. So I'll tell you a story, and this will either make me seem really smart or kind of dumb, but hopefully smart. I figured because it was kind of complicated, and we actually have an indication for use that this could be a 510K, so I went to the FDA and I said, no, we want some information about this 510K, and maybe we can get fast track. And they said, no, we can't give you fast track because we're not going to regulate this as a 510K, which is kind of a bummer because we don't get recognition as fast track. But the plus side is that this is actually saleable, right? We can go straight to the market. There's no regulatory approval that has to happen with this product. We just need to go, finish up injection molds, do a little bit of release testing, and then we can get this product to market. Then we've got our third product, which is the one that you're holding in your hand potentially, and this is called the Tuttle Safe. So the Tuttle Safe is an intellectual exercise where we said, okay, we've got a really complicated NDA, we can make it cheaper as a device. Can we make it even less complicated and get a product out on the market? And we did. So we've got the Tuttle Safe. It's sort of a subsidiary of 88 Pharma, and we had $6,400 in sales in the Tuttle Safe last year we launched, which isn't tremendous, but considering where we are as a small virtual company, and this is it's money. And I'm sure there are a lot of startups that wish they had that sort of revenue and the ability to scale it up.
Next slide.
Okay. Yep.
Why is the close?
Sorry, I can talk. Through it. There we go. Okay, so our product that we've been working on sort of initially brought us into the bio-incubator space to do development was this called the Autotoxy 15. So this is a smart packaging system intended to have a full computer system in it, biometric locking system. This is for opioid pain medication, so narcotics. And the idea with this particular system, it's got a abuse deterrent chemical in it. So it actually naltrexone abuse deterrent in there, and if you break into the bottle, it coats your opioid with an antagonist, and so you can't the drug's useless. But this is very complicated product, but we're developing this. And actually, we've done a substantial amount of work regulatory-wise, and in developing the chemical abuse deterrent formulation, because this is an NDA, so it's sort of a drug-heavy development. So this is what could happen if you had an opioid in a container that you can't open. If you break it open, it destroys the opioid medication. It doesn't open faster than once every 4 to 6 hours. The full suite of things to secure the medication. All right. So simplifying that brings us to our carapace. So the carapace has all of the same concepts as the autotoxy, except it's got no antagonist in it. So we really simplified it. We actually haven't developed pretty far along with our fancy box. So this would be something that pharmacies would have, so distribute your Cardinal, McKesson, what have you. It would go to your CVS, and then your pharmacist would have the option of either filling up your standard amber pharmacy bottle or one of these Carapace containers. The benefit of the Carapace is it's got a fixed quantity of slots. The huge issue with opioid pain medications, as we all know, is the extra doses that get left in the cabinets. The easiest way to deal with the extra doses that are left in the cabinets is just not distributed as much, right? That's pretty straightforward. That way you don't have to really have the same negotiation with the pharmacist or the doctor. You just, put it into a container that only has a fixed number of slots in it. And that deals with a lot of the issues that you can have with opioid pain medications. And in terms of the FDA, we actually talked to the FDA a little bit about a sort of indication of use. Now, this is a regulatory affairs background. It's a little bit funny because this isn't like a 510K, but they still were totally okay with us moving forward with conceptually. This packaging is designed to hold a fixed quantity of tablets, and then when used as directed, the packaging is expected to reduce the exposure to excess medication. However, exposure to excess medication is still possible, and then when used as directed, this packaging may reduce the number of tablets that are distributed. So this is going after the opioid epidemic simply by limiting the number of tablets that get distributed in each prescription by mechanically, which is important, not chemically, just mechanically limiting the number of slots. This actually indication is important because it sort of hints what our health economic piece is. We need payers presumably to reimburse for this product. So what is the economic benefit to the payer? Well, when you go from filling 30 tablets in a bottle to filling 15, 5, or 10 or 5, you actually have less tablets in the bottle. So you're saving the payers an awful lot of money by not having to distribute a full 30. And if you go down to 5, you actually can have it substantially cheaper with my packaging system in 5 tablets as opposed to the Amber Pharmacy bottle and then 30 tablets or however many. And some of the medications are extraordinarily expensive, so it just helps our economics even more. Okay. Actually, that past slide. Actually, back to. So just to give you there we go. So just to give you an idea of how much money is wasted on this problem by extra doses of opioid medications. So targeting naive users, so somebody who has a toothache or a broken arm, or they don't have a chronic skin issue, the industry could save $3 billion annually just by the number of tablets that end up unused in medicine cabinets. And this is even before the long-term problems. This is just really mechanically going from 30 to 15, 10, or 5 tablets. This isn't people being addicted and spending years in treatment. That actually raises the cost of these things even more, but it's harder to prove, so you just go with really mechanical health economics. If we do go to that other piece, we're talking about like $54 billion in people who have chronic pain conditions and the extra medication and the harms that extra medication can do to that population.
Next slide.
So we go from, let's see, the autopsy, which is the NDA, the Carapace, which is a device, to the very, very simple product, which is the pedal safe. This is for coins, so there's no medical use, completely unregulated. It's wonderful being in an unregulated space. It's like a breath of fresh air. And these guys are actually selling. Like I said, we sold over 300 of these last year, and I'm trying to figure out different ways to try to ramp up the sales of this product first because it's on the market. It's really simple. And I really enjoy this. So this product, the pedal safe, we are using this as a financial literacy package. So kids who, and if you have children, you think about how do you teach them about saving for things that they want. The kids come up to you all the time and say, I want this toy or I want that toy. Oh gosh, do I have the money for it? Do I really want to buy that for you? Do I feel like I'm being responsible by buying this toy for you? With the Tuttle Safe, it comes with a financial money smart planner. And so your child can actually write down their goal, how much money they have, where they're going to earn more money, And then, which I think is really kind of the things that they did not buy with their money, because that always becomes the most difficult part for kids when they have a little bit of money they want to spend it. So anyway, this has become a full financial education piece, and hopefully we'll get some traction with that. We can also do promotions. We've got a beautiful proprietary print on here, and we're actually selling these guys now, right? And just to give you an idea, so right now, we have $6,400 in sales last year, but the piggy bank for the educational toy market in the US, $24 billion, the toy market. So a product like this, yes, you're dealing with a really crowded market, but there's enough money in there that if you can brand correctly, you can differentiate yourself from other people. I think there's a lot of potential. So the sort of ask, which is a little bit different. So, these are commercial or very exclusive commercial products. Our carapace, like I said before, we are authorized to market. There's no regulatory hurdles that we have to go through here. So really, I'm looking for a marketing partner for this. I need somebody who can help me sell a class 1 medical device and get distribution through Target and testing and get some sales, and ideally leverage sales to build up our manufacturing, right, for the manufacturing. So I'm looking for a marketing partner who can ideally do injection molding. We've got to do a little bit of release testing, GMP documentation, and that health economic study. So if I could find that partner, we'd probably have like a $3.5 million budget to actually get this thing into the market in the correct way. So that's exciting, but that can go anytime. So that's the ask there. And then the Tuttle Safe. So the Tuttle Safe completely, this is generating sales. And this is something that if I can find the right special sauce in marketing and branding on the product, I can leverage this for a lot of different things. So I'm really excited about the whole financial sector part of it. So this sort of warms my heart to be, working in this space and actually generating sales, which is, after working as a startup for a long time, it's really nice to actually see some sales coming in. So that is an overview of what we're doing at 88 Pharma. If you guys know any people who can help me out with market access, and or somebody who's got an injection molding facility who wants a couple of new products, we've got different products for them. But thank you all very much. And please take the Tuttle Safe if you don't have one. There, kids love them. They're fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That was Mansfield 88 next speaker is Marina Figueroa.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Wonderful. So we are APEC and we are 19 days member of and about a year ago I met Alex in one of networking. And he said, come to our space, great incubator. I don't know. I met him in 2 months. He said, come now, my incubator. No, we have my incubator. No, we have another lab space. And finally, we're here. Who knew? Who knew? Thank you, Alex. So we are working now in an NIH project, and it's very difficult. Not difficult, it's a very big problem. We are trying to solve. Everybody knows about opioids crisis, and we are trying to help with solving the problem. So numbers are big, and especially with pandemic, numbers of deaths from opioids raised by 30%, and now 108. So 108,000 108,000 people dying from overdose. And probably half of them is caused by fentanyl. So every day, 150 people die from overdose from fentanyl. And fentanyl is the most available, the most deadly, cheapest narcotic what we can have, and it's very challenging to develop. And actually, deadly dose of fentanyl is 2 milligrams per ml, and most rapid tests available on market can detect 300 nanograms per ml. So 200 you need to die, two you need to die, and 300 they can detect. So basically, they can detect fentanyl in a dead body. So that's not solution. So what's available? Can we just go back? It's just the amount of fentanyl person can die. So the most difficult part now is to detect fentanyl and other narcotics. And next slide. So there are different kind of diagnostics for now. It's urine, saliva, blood, and hair, but they're invasive. They need lab treatment. People can fake urine samples, but the most downside that they cannot detect fentanyl, or if they can detect fentanyl, it is not enough sensitivity. And next slide. Next slide. So what we are proposing a totally different approach. We are detecting opioids in sweat. So it's definitely not invasive, and we will put bracelet, and the bracelet will stimulate sweat, and our biosensor inside of this bracelet, and in 10, 12 minutes, it will be wirelessly reported to cell phone or computer, and it will say yes or no, what kind of opioids and what concentration. So it's not just yes or no, what now and and for now we finished phase 1 and we will prototype. This is photograph on our prototype, and we will come to our investment for the one. So we already can do now, and by the end of development, we will have 12 demos from activity. So now this one is phase 1 and phase 2. And so it's a total of almost $3 million, and before 23 years, we can complete the development. And like, so that's what we are planning to do. So it's over 6 major opioids and 6 other popular narcotics, all wireless, very accurate, and basically we'll have to send the brain in one, and that's the part, and not even like part after because there'll be 10 people, no narcotics, we can keep using the same rate because we'll be replaced with a full sensor, will get full narcotics here. So that's very simple mechanism. Next slide is, so what is will be used for? First, we thought it will be very useful for law enforcement. So if they can stop somebody, they think the person on drugs and they want to bring them to police place, but maybe it's too late and this person already overdosed and need to bring them to hospital or save his life. So that's one of targets. But first we are focusing on human resources, and it's what by NIH donating to provide human resources. This greatness is now 90% of the company require pre-screening, pre-employment screening, and now instead of medium supervisor, medium testing to the left, they need to be the breakthrough out. It also will be to by pain management clinics because now they need pain management clinics needs
there's life insurance, drug rehabilitation center, they need to work with their patients. And actually, we already set up like our consultant. Now just we're doing clinical trials with STAR, the biggest drug rehabilitation center in Massachusetts. So we will be doing clinical study there. And we are working on our intellectual property. We start conversation with the state ruling. Probably in 3 years, we will be on the market. Maybe we will have more money, not just from an age factor. Is the biggest challenge. Maybe this kind of short term. And we are here, and everybody wants to come and talk to us. Here, I'm very excited. I think excited and proud to talk to our today. So we are very proud and very excited. And by the way, we are hiring. We are hiring very good scientists. We are hiring marketing people. So thank you so much.
Daniel.
Dan,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
get
right to the payroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that intrinsic bioscience is here, but they're not presenting, that's correct. Our next presenter will be Amanda Wellner from Hilltop Bio.
Thank you. All right, thanks so much for having me, and for everybody coming in to see the beautiful facility. I'm Amanda, I'm the co-founder, and it's really loud in my face. Is everybody else hearing me? Before we keep going? Okay. I'm Amanda, co-founder and CEO for Hilltop Bio. We're a veterinary company, and we are pioneering veterinary care with novel cell signaling technology to reduce inflammation and provide necessary components to restore the animal's immune balance. So a little bit about us. We've been here in the incubator since about 2019. We are a biotech life science company. We have about $3 million in invested capital. It's a $9 billion market opportunity in animal health today with the products that we have that we're working on. And we have 3 equine products that are currently in the market with 96% of our vets repeat purchasing, and 3 plus products now in R&D, both in equine and in canine. So we're moving along quite nicely. We filed our first IND, which is an IND for those in the human industry, in February 2022, and we've been moving along that process since. Next slide. So what are we solving for? Veterinarians lack a simple but effective therapy for everyday use, and there's about $1 billion lost in the industry in revenue, both from the horse owner's perspective and the veterinarian's perspective. In the US, there's about 22 million injuries or illnesses each year that don't have an easy-to-use solution. And our veterinarians are spending a lot of money and time trying to treat injuries and diseases that they either are spending expensive equipment on or just don't have a viable solution to help their pets heal quickly. And then they require the solutions that we do have require multiple treatments, like everyday medication, so they don't always have great compliance from their pet parents. So we're trying to help our veterinarians with an easy-to-use solution. Next slide. That's simplifying regenerative therapy. Very easy. It is the first and only sterile room temperature regenerative therapy on the shelf. It effectively helps reduce scar tissue, inflammation, healing times, and it's easy to use product for all veterinarians, any type of veterinarian.
In our clinical trials, we've seen 67% efficacy. It's consistent and practical. In our proof of concept for canine pain associated with osteoarthritis as an intramuscular injection, 92% of the dogs improved within the first 30 days, and 56% continued to improve over 60 days. We're now in a blinded study using the same regenerative therapy, and I hope to have those results in the next 2 to 3 weeks. When we're looking at it for respiratory problems in our horses, we've seen 74% efficacy in our proof of concept work. We're currently moving forward with our IND for this product, and we have clinical trials starting in the coming few weeks. So the products currently in market are a membrane, which helps non-healing wounds. So we don't really get diabetic wounds, as most of you probably think of non-healing wounds. We do get wounds that are all the way to the bone that really just don't have a great opportunity to heal. Since we have a membrane that gets placed right over the wound, our vets and our horse owners don't have to touch it for a variety of days, which is great. It makes for an easy use and easy compliance. And we can use that same product for a variety of different uses, specifically in eyes, and also as an adhesion barrier in surgical cases. Regeniflex RT is a soft tissue injectable product, mostly used in horses right now, for soft tissue injuries, tendons, ligaments, and that sort of thing, which this product is very interesting because it can be kept on the shelf and in the veterinarian's car or truck because they're always on the go. They're really not in the clinic. And so this is one of the first regenerative therapies that they can do that with. And then our ALV-21 is not currently on the market entirely, but it is for respiratory health. That's the one that has an IND out for mild to moderate asthma. We are using it to reduce inflammation within the respiratory tract of horses as well. And we have several products along our pipeline, specifically for eye ulcers, surgical use, canine and feline respiratory disease, and laminitis and other inflammatory factors coming up in the future. We have a very broad history of meeting all of our milestones on time and within budget so far. In 2019, we raised our first round of funding. In 2020, March of 2020, it was really excellent timing because we went to market. We had $100,000 in 2020 in sales with one sales rep. It was really fun. Wouldn't recommend. In 2021, we raised our next round of funding. With that, we did pilot studies for equine asthma. We worked on our FDA submissions, and we had new R&D for our canine osteoarthritis and canine respiratory products. And then at the beginning of this year, we've been working on our canine and equine ulcer treatment. We've been working on a strategic partnership in Europe and a variety of many other things have been coming our way. So we've been busy this year. Our team is full of experts in the field. I've been in sales and marketing and in regenerative therapies for about 10 or 15 years now. Mark Williams is my co-founder. He's been in the animal health industry for over 20 years, bringing new products to market. Dr. Dutton has been working with regenerative therapies for quite some time as their chief veterinary officer. And then Charles Sedart has also been working in birth tissues, and he's our bioengineer and VP of operations. A few people I want to point out as our consultants are Dan Dreyfus, who is a well-known vet who treated, if you guys know, in racing several years ago, Barbaro. He was one of the main vets that treated Barbaro. So we were really excited to have him. And then another vet to point out is Heather Sherman. She is currently the Olympic veterinarian for the Olympic team for show jumping. And then Dr. Jennifer Welzer has just recently joined us because she is the chief veterinary officer for Mars. Some of you may know Mars as a candy company, but they are a huge company in animal health. They own a variety of, they actually own all of VCA, which are the animal hospitals who may have been around town and all over the world. And they are now really expanding into the equestrian market. So they've been sponsoring and working through all that. So we're really excited to have her. Those are the main ones, but everybody else has been super helpful. Last slide. So our board of directors is also full of great people. Denise Bevers comes from Kindred Bio, she is the CEO, COO. Kindred Bio sold in 2021 for $440 million to Elanco. So she's got a lot of startup experience and a lot of fun. And then the rest of them, many of you might know them, they're all well known here in the startup community. Next slide. So currently we're raising a convertible note for $1 million with an expected equity round coming up in 2023, middle of 2023. We expect to improve our canine, move our canine osteoarthritis product, move through the FDA, and open up some new doors in Europe. So I look forward to talking with you further. Thanks so much for having me.
That was Amanda Wilkins from the Ohio. Okay, Mario. From Uncle Vision. I'm sorry, Uncle Solution.
Damn. It's painted.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, right there.
Well, good afternoon, and I'll be providing a brief update on Convolution, which is a company that I co-founded in 2016. So what about Convolution? What is the mandate for Convolution? Basically, our main purpose is to re-engineer platinum compounds. So platinum compounds have a long history. These are chemotherapeutic agents that were introduced in the early 60s, early 70s for cancer treatment. And they've been very, very effective, but extremely toxic. So these are typically used for solid tumors, solid cancer. And as I said, they're still very widely used. There's a variety of generations of these platinums that are available commercially, and they are currently used to treat patients. Very effective for colon cancer, lung cancer. Well, not nearly as effective for lung cancer, but certainly they have a long history of being widely used and very effective. But as I said, extremely toxic. And so the idea was to potentially identify means by which to possibly maintain the potency of these products, but yet minimize the toxicity. And over the years, there are many companies that have made vesicle liposome products of platinums, probably with minimal success, and then nanoparticles, etc., etc. Our approach is slightly different, is to basically maintain the core structure of the buttons, but then use different means to target these molecules so that we minimize the toxicity while maintaining the efficacy of the molecule. And so these are some of the potential problems with platinum compounds. They're reasonably toxic. They're damage kidneys. They're myelosuppressive, and all sorts of other complications besides affecting the quality of our education. So next slide. We have developed a variety of molecules right now. The primary approach has been to basically make these coordinates, which currently, instead of the standard procedure, is to basically coordinate the platinum with cancer-only peptides. That is one of the approaches that we have pursued, and
We have, as I said, we have made a variety of these molecules and we are testing these in vitro as well as in vivo, and I will be showing a little bit of data that we have so far on a couple of these more promising molecules. We also, please go back. Go back. Yeah, so we have filed an international patent on technology, and it's currently being evaluated by various jurisdictions around the world. So next slide. So this is one of the Uncle 16, is 16th molecule that we have made, and this was tested for toxicity. This is typically known as an MTD study in mice. And in this case, we tested various doses to see up to what dose we could potentially administer to the mouse before potentially affecting the viability of the mouse. And so in this case, we were able to successfully administer up to about the drug at 5 mg per kg, which is a reasonably high dose, without really killing the mouse, which is obviously unwanted. And so, based on these data, then we designed a more complex study to assess the efficacy of this Uncle-0016 molecule. And the next slide, please. So in this case, we did an actual what's known as this is a xenograft mouse model. We tested the drug for its efficacy against non-small cell lung carcinoma. So in this case, the mice are inoculated with with cancer cells. The cancer cell that was used was the NSI-H358, which is a human-derived non-small cell lung that was used in this case. So typically, the mice are inoculated with the cancer cells. The cancer is allowed to grow to a certain size, and then the treatment begins. In this case, we dosed the mice. We had 3 arms. This is purely randomized study, where in one arm was the placebo, which was just sugar, and then we had 2 arms, which were the treatment arms. One of the treatment arms was oxaliplatin. Oxaliplatin is actually the standard of treatment currently for platinum. For patients needing platinum treatment, and then we had our drug, and so the dosing was 4 mg per kg, which was done every 2 days over the course of 3 weeks. And so we did so. You can see how the growth of the tumor with the placebo, the tumor continued to grow as one would expect. The oxaliplatin, which is the red curve there, the red trace, was the oxaliplatin, and you can see that that drug at 4 mg per kg begins to provide some response at say around day 13. But it's really not a very robust response. And then we have our drug there, which is the one in green, whereby we can see an effect even within 6 days after dosing the mice. And the drug continued to really provide essentially inhibit the growth of the tumor for the entire duration of the study. And in fact, it really prevented the tumor from growing, and it begins to actually shrink after day 15. Whereas the oxaliplatin, it does show, but it's not, in fact, it's not very statistically relevant up to 20 days. This is a side-by-side study with head-to-head study with oxaliplatin at the same dosing regimen, and yet our drug was substantially more efficient in inhibiting the growth of the tumor, this non-small cancer in mice, showing that in fact our approach appears to be quite robust and very efficient at killing these cancer cells. And next slide, please. So basically, this is our success story here with this particular 0016, which we are currently trying to partner with large pharma. We have an organization in New York that is representing us, LifeSci, and we're trying to now identify potential pharma companies that might be interested in possibly exploring the partnership or outright buying the asset to further develop it, because we think that there's great promise. Next slide. So these are some of my co-workers. It's myself and then my colleague David Simpson, who's basically helping the financing and some of the business aspects of the company, and I think I'll stop here. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a schedule change. We're going to have Amy Wongler from Federal Health. Can you see that? All right, so everyone looks like they have their post-lunch lump. So, can everyone get up? And shake yourself out a little bit? All right, I'm going to make a statement. And if you agree with that statement, stay standing up. And if you disagree with that statement, sit back. Okay? All right. And men in the room, you guys are participating too. And the statement is, I am so excited to go to the doctor for a transvaginal ultrasound. And we have one about standing up. So, the jump side thing. So, what we do in actual is the next generation of fertility testing. And we're taking this now, we're putting a movement to the home environment. And there's a number of different reasons for that. But one of them, of course, is why we should witness as a group. Like, nobody wants to go to the doctor for this kind of stuff. And in fact, a lot of people actually can't get fertility care at the doctor, whether that's because they have a history of prior sexual trauma, or they're disabled, or they're from a potential minority group that has not had great experiences in the clinic. So this is an area that's hugely underserved. And so by moving this care to the home environment, we can expand a lot for people's right to access to private care. And so what we did is the complete outcome consult. The ultrasound we see on the left, it's still investigational, so we're running a clinical trial. The blood and the semen that you see there in the middle, those are commercialized together with a housing tape that's reviewed by a hospital. Once we do all of that testing, we spit out the kind of custom report you can see on the market. It gives people a perspective on their personal fertility. You can test by yourself, woman, or you can test with a partner as well.
Next slide.
And so part of why this is so different than anything else that's on the market is because we're actually looking at the underlying biology. So we're using that ultrasound that we talked about on the previous slide to actually look at the female reproductive organs, to actually look and see what's happening in addition to the blood and semen, which we do as well, which other companies also have called blood and semen assays. And because we're looking at that underlying biology, we can combine all of that to really get a pretty complete perspective on male and female reproductive organs. We've been working on this for about 3 years. We've published a number of articles, including in Green Journal and last year at AIR 2021, we were late breaking abstract. We actually just last month had an article combining reproductive biology and ethology, looking at the performance of our blood products. And we have an amazing team, including Sherry, who is the archive, and a number of other team members, many of them from the pharma, who are really committed to advancing women and public health. Thanks. Thank you, Amy. Okay, back to our staff now. We're gonna have Matt Turner from Phenomenex. Probably along the way.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Matt Turner. I'm the president of Phenomenex, and I'm joined with several colleagues. So the Phenomenex colleagues, we can raise your hand. Super. So first and foremost, about a year ago, we were doing our strategy for our company, and we decided that we needed to be on the East Coast because as we moved into biopharma and we do more in biopharma, we said we have to have a presence on the East Coast. And the story became from the East Coast, we've got to get to Kendall Square. And as an MIT graduate, when I was at MIT, Kendall Square used to be a bunch of abandoned factories. And every time I visited in the last 25 plus years, there are more glass buildings, there are more cranes, there are more biotech businesses there. So I was really adamant that we got to go to Kendall Square. And then we started to invest and look into the area. And one of our new hires, the director of emerging biopharma, Nigel, who you've met here, said, hey, you know, Kendall Square is great, but the ecosystem is beyond Kendall Square. Scientists are everywhere. And in fact, we need to think about outside of Kendall Square. And so we're so excited to be here in Mansfield because this is outside of Kendall Square where the ecosystem is as rich. And we're excited to be here because as Phenomenex, we want to support scientists. So a little bit about Phenomenex. Although we are 5 days old here in terms of our official kind of opening in the lab, we are a 40-year-old company and we are used to supporting scientists in all that we do. So I'm going to say, I've got a few notes here. First and foremost, we are an analytical chemistry company. So we support companies doing separation sciences and purification. And so a lot of people ask, well, what are your products? So our products are liquid chromatography columns, gas chromatography columns, sample prep products, accessories, standards, anything lab scientists need to do their job, we want to do that for you. People say, what do you do? And my kids always ask me, Dad, what do you guys do? You separate what? What are you doing? What's going on? And you know, we simply tell people that we help save lives. Raise your hand if you know anyone that has diabetes or high blood pressure or any chronic disease and they have to take medicine. Well, they need our chemistry to figure out the right dosage and to make sure that what they're making is right and it's going to work right every single time. Same thing, if you ever walked into a CVS and you picked up the Motrin bottle and you said, okay, what's the active ingredient here? Now let me look at the CVS version and see what's the right version and save $3 or $4. Well, those are generic companies that are making those products and they need our chemistry to make those products and ensure that whatever they're saying they're going to make has the right dosage. And so that's what we do. We do analytical chemistry and separate things down and purify things. And so we've been around again for 40 years. And we are really committed to the community. And so being part of this system here, an ecosystem, it's just great listening to all those entrepreneurs because this, I was telling John, one of our associates, this feels like the Bay Area. You know, everyone found out, they got their kids, they're excited, and at some point something's gonna pop. And we're gonna say, you know what, we were there. We heard them talk about this. You know, it was really exciting. So this is really exciting for us because we're here in this ecosystem and we want to grow, you know, especially here in biotech. Now, we've talked a lot about Massachusetts being kind of a hub of life sciences innovation. So this is why we're here. And we know that this is going to be great for us. Now, Phenomenex is also an operating company, part of Danaher. Danaher is our largest company that's global science and technology. Our sister companies like Science, here they make large mass spectrometers. They are in our lab back there. You also have Santiva, which is more on the bioprocessing side, more downstream purification. They are here in Massachusetts, and we're making investments, not only us in Phenomenex, but across Danaher, because this is a place we've got to be. The next 18 to 24 months, you know, we're expanding our presence alongside those other companies with permanent labs across Massachusetts. Additionally, you know, we know that this is a place where there's world-class scientists. You know, I had a chance to meet some of the Wheaton students. How many of you had a chance to meet some of the Wheaton students that were here earlier? And some of them are still here. You know, this is what you want, right? As you want, I was just talking to some of the professors about their ideas, and they were talking about having their students come here doing internships, whether they're business students or biology students doing internships. And I was explaining to them how customers around the world of ours talk about We need people that have biopharma experience, that have biologics experience, and we just can't find that here in India or in Singapore or in other places. And then I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, we have weekly students that are right here close to this lab. And I believe it's Kelly that's already working here, doing an internship and supporting the businesses here. Think about when you graduate and you have that on your resume and you have that experience. Places are killing to find folks with this kind of talent. And this is a place where Massachusetts, where we've got tons of universities and tons of just bright students, professors, scientists, and engineers that we want to work with. Now, our future is, again, we're 40 years old, 5 days old here, but 40 years old overall. We're actually celebrating our 40-year anniversary with our founder, Boston and Providence, who's just a phenomenal person. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a big celebration. In California, celebrating our 40 years, but this is a new space for us in biopharma. We did, well, not new, but new here. We've been playing in biopharma for a long time, and we feel like this is a growth area for us, and we want to continue to grow. Now, we've invested in new products. We've got some great new innovations, some new applications, new workflow developments that's going to support our scientists. And what you're going to see from us here is those of you who are in this space, you'll see us supporting you. You'll probably see some of these opportunities with some of our customers where we come and do some demonstrations. And we see this as a great opportunity to be not just here in Mansfield, but in Massachusetts overall. So we look forward to talking with you today. I think Nigel knows everyone I've met from our, oh, you work with Nigel. You work with Nigel. So yeah, I work with Nigel. And the other thing I always hear is, that's a cool name, Phenomenons. That is a great name. And again, Posthumous were our founders who came up with that name. And it's a wonderful company. We look forward to meeting all of you and most importantly, working with you for the Massachusetts. Thank you.
And that was Matt Turner and Phenomenons. Okay, we're going back to Mario DePaulo again for another company, Therapy.
Yeah, sorry, but you have to stare at my pretty face here. Yeah, so therapy. Actually, Caribbean is an exciting venture. So basically, as the name states, the degraders company. So Caribbean is developing a class of molecules called degrader, also known as protax. And we are currently initially targeting various cyclin-dependent kinases to these molecules. And with the intent to treat 50 types of tumors, one of which is triple-negative breast cancer, but there are other cancers that we are targeting. Of course, most of the large pharma are targeting these type of cancers, including pancreatic and lung cancer. Certainly, pancreatic is the holy grail of cancer, with 90+ mortality rate. So anyway, moving forward. So we founded this company in 2020. We've been here in the Bio-Incubator since the company inception. Oncology has also been here since 2020. And so we'll just move forward to the next. So this is the cartoon of a protac and how protac work for degraders. So degraders are reasonably complex molecules. They're heterobifunctional molecules. In the upper quadrant there, that's a schematic of a protac, whereby the molecule has two business ends. One that binds to a protein of interest, and the other that binds to, in this case, the E3 ligase. And then there's a linker, the chemical linker in between, which basically joins the two business ends together. Now, what these molecules do is that they basically go fishing around for proteins for which the ligand has affinity. Once they hit that protein, it binds very tightly to the protein, and then it pulls in this ligase. The ligase is a complex. It's that contains an enzyme, ubiquitinase, which gets in close vicinity to the protein of interest and ubiquitinates protein of interest. Now, once it's ubiquitinated, that protein has been tagged for proteolysis. And that is actually a standard chemical process that occurs in the cell for identifying unwanted components in a cell and essentially target these unwanted components for degradation. So once it's ubiquitinated to a certain level, the protein goes to a proteasome where it basically gets degraded in small peptides and individual amino acids. And essentially that protein is eliminated. So that's how PROTACs do their business. So moving forward. One of our targets of interest is cyclin-dependent kinase 9. We chose this because there's a very good reason, and I don't want to go into the biology, but many cancers are driven by a protein called MYC protein, which is a critical protein in the cell, and it basically regulates the transcription of many genes, if not all genes, within the cell. But this MYC protein is, in order to activate the MYC protein, it needs phosphorylation. And CDK9 directly phosphorylates the MYC protein, which then activates it to do its job. So while the MYC protein has been an undruggable protein to date, which we felt that if we go a little bit upstream and we hit this kinase, for which MYC is highly dependent, we may be able to then affect the function of the MYC protein. And therefore, that's why we are targeting CDK9. So moving forward, please. So we have made a variety of molecules, PD 3, 4, 5, and next. Then 8 and 9, these are essentially second generation. We have basically reworked some of these molecules to molecular docking, artificial intelligence / molecular docking to make them even more specific for the target of interest. Okay, next slide. So our initial construct, PD003, we did several significant testing in vitro to ensure that there's specificity. So because the CDK9 is part of a family of cyclin-dependent kinases, it's important to maintain specificity because if there's too much cross-reactivity with other kinases, then there's going to be enormous toxicity, which will obviously be unwanted, and it will probably be too toxic and therefore not be a suitable product. And in this case, our PD03 actually looked quite favorable, and not only in terms of specificity, but also in terms of affinity. And so moving on to the next step. So we also did a quick PK study in mice to see how this protein behaves when it's delivered, in this case by intraperitoneally. And as you know, it's very typical for a molecule. It reached peak within 1 hour after injection, and it stayed up for about a few hours, and then it began to be cleared. And within 24 hours, it was completely gone. Of course, this is in mice, and so the rate of clearance in mice is very much quicker than in humans. Obviously, it would be very different if we did this type of study in humans as far as clearance rate. And so moving forward, so then we decided to do an in vivo study again using the xenograft mouse model. In this case, we actually targeted the triple-negative breast cancer cells. As we did with the other, I explained with the other study for oncoevolution, the mice were basically inoculated with these cancer cells, and then we looked at the efficacy of the drug in preventing the growth of the cancer. And so we see that on the right there's a bar plot there that shows the level of efficacy. So unlike we were seeing some sizable effects, statistically dependent sizable effects. And the treatment lasted for 21 days. Interestingly enough, even after we stopped dosing, we continue to see effects in preventing cancer, which is kind of not unexpected because these drugs, they're not inhibitors; they actually degraders. They eliminate the CDK9. Of course, we don't want to completely eliminate it, but certainly reduce it. So after stopping the dosing, we continue to see continued additional efficacy. And so right now we are working on So we're working on reformulating this drug, and we're going to do a much more comprehensive study in mice, just to see if we can improve on the efficacy of the drug. But this is a timeline, by which we're working in order to basically hopefully bring this to a phase 1 study. We are aiming for first and second quarter of 2024 if everything goes well. And like the next slide. So these are some of my partners here involved in therapy, and I think I'll stop here.
Our final speaker is Mario Roy, Head of Global Foods.
It is a PowerPoint. It is a PowerPoint. Yes, it is. Well, here. There you go. Yeah. So I'll take over. Okay. Could you? So maybe I'll. I'll do a slideshow. I'll find slideshow, no problem. Slideshow. Yeah. Oh yes. 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 Yeah. Let me see how. Slideshow. Yes, here you click on that. Click the bottom. Oh, from beginning. Over here? Yeah, that's it. Okay. No, right, cool. All right, why are you showing like this? No worries. So I'll take care of it. All right, cool. Thank you. Oh, can I? Yes. You're executive? Yeah. No, or you can. I can. Yes. Fine. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon. I am Shaumo Roy, and my business partner Adam lives in LA, and he couldn't be here with us, but we both are equally excited about being here. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll start with this video.
Every single meal you eat brings you one step closer to either youthful vitality or chronic illness. So do we at Up Level Foods expect everyone to immediately go cold turkey and stop eating any convenience or unhealthy foods? No, that's unrealistic. Imagine telling your kids that they can't eat those fries they love so much. What if someone had the audacity to say to you, no more barbecue?
Can't hear.
Needless to say, consumers would be
any chance of increase the sorry. Thank you.
Every single meal you eat brings you one step closer to either youthful vitality or chronic illness.
You know
so
what?
do we
Forget it. Sorry. Oh God. How do I get there? Alex need help.
Why don't you speak and I'll do it? You want to speak? No.
Yeah, but there is this animation that.
There's more animation?
Yeah, so can you put this one into slide mode?
So
how do we do that?
Okay, so let's. Oh.
And you can get into this?
No, from beginning.
Okay.
So slideshow.
Yeah, and this is not working. We are not able to hear it. So let's put it. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, and how do I? Arrow, okay. All right. So arguably, the most important factor affecting our health is a diet. But this is not surprising, and hands down, eating is the most unconscious and reactive things that we do. And we, as food scientists, know how to create food that is very addictive. These things, the barbecue, the red meat, the fast food are really the things that are very addictive, yet they have been linked to cancer and chronic diseases, right? And so you may think that, okay, well, there is this plant-based protein alternative that is going to save us, and that's going to, the meat is going to fade away. Let's take some data and see what's happening. So this is the conventional meat market, refrigerated, and it's over $80 billion market, and it is growing. And this is 2021 US sales. And the frozen meat market is it's little less than 20 billion. And if you look at the beef, which is mostly like 99% is all the red meat market, is growing really fast. I mean, it's double-digit growth, which is almost unheard of a so mature market, especially in the food industry. Compared to meat alternatives, it's just a blip, like it's only less than 500 million, and it is not doing very well. And the frozen meat alternative, it is like close to $1 billion, but it's way, way lower, and it's long ways to go for them. So meat is here to stay. And so with 50 million, or actually 50 billion hamburgers that we eat every year, with 20 billion hot dogs that we eat every year, and about 10 billion French fries, 10 billion pounds of French fries that we eat every year. There are accompaniments that are condiments that actually complements with this. So there is this opportunity to actually have a healthy condiments that actually will offset the unhealthy ingredients that are present in all these inconvenient diet. So let's take a look at the condiment market, and I'm giving ketchup as an example. And I have on the x-axis the ingredients that are beneficial for your health. And on the left side, it is like starting with detrimental and then neutral, which is not really causing much harm to you, but it is not really also helping you from the health standpoint. And then at the very right is the reversal, or very highly bioactive ingredients present in the product that will actually offset the unhealthy ingredients that are present in your convenience diet. So starting with the Heinz ketchup that is mostly sold here in US, they have high fructose corn syrup, which is still, again, the #1 selling product. They also have organic sugar, which is a little better. There are a few more products coming out in the market. The sale is not that good, but they are trying to get towards more healthy functions and giving a better health benefit to the consumers. But look at these. All of these are overprocessed, and therefore, on the y-axis, there is a huge white space, because all of these products need about 30 minutes for cooking. And what happens is that you get about 33% loss of these bioactive compounds while you are actually cooking. And worse, and that is these bioactive compounds, the phytonutrients that are actually beneficial to your health, they actually oftentimes get converted to toxins. And so really, it is important that we move away from too much cooking to having minimally processed food products. And so that's the white space that was staring at us. And that's where we find the real opportunity of the condiments, where we will have none to minimal heat treatment, and we will have the offsetting of the negative effects of these convenient foods. And this is really tough, that we both, myself and my business partner, truly believe that all ingredients that are going to be present in these condiments has to have documented health benefits. What that really means is that even the stevia or the monk foods that are present in most of these products that you see are not going to be in our products, because they actually do not have any health benefits to your health benefits to you when you're eating those products. And this is really tough, because creating a delicious product with all these ingredients is not easy, but we are very close to creating a product which is delicious, 100% organic, nutrient dense, and non-GMO. So there are two channels that we are targeting. One is the healthcare providers who practice functional medicine, and they would be selling it to their patients. And our positioning is supercharged condiments with very high potency. And there the sales is mostly based on one-on-one relationship. And the second one is really direct to the consumers, where our positioning is premium superfood condiments, and really the selling will be digital marketing and social media. And then really we are relying on these healthcare providers to create the brand awareness that will spill over to the consumers who do not, excuse me, really go to the healthcare providers yet. And if you think that, okay, well, who are the healthcare providers and how big is the market? We have done some research on that, and we have divided these healthcare providers into all these categories. We have fairly decent chiropractors, nutritionists, medical doctors are growing. They are the functional medicine doctors, and then acupuncturists and naturopaths. And combined with just 3 SKUs, the ketchup, the mustard, and the mayonnaise, it's a $60 million opportunity just to have that channel for us. And our team, I am the CEO and Chief Science Officer, and I am a food scientist, food engineer, and an entrepreneur by training. And I am a product developer, innovator, and a strategist by experience. I worked with companies such as General Mills, Ocean Spray, and GNC, and I have extensive experience in developing intellectual property. And my business partner, Adam, is the Chief Marketing Officer and Sales Director. He made a name for himself being a functional medicine lecturer and a radio show host. He's in LA area, and he is experienced with sales and marketing on functional foods and nutritional supplements. And while at Metagenics, he broke every single records in sales. So I'm really delighted to have him, and we complement very well together. And also, I am grateful that we just started a partnership with B International, and their representatives are here, acknowledging them, Chris and Brian. And I believe that to create this minimal processing technology, this partnership is an important part of getting us to a minimally processed product that is safe for you, so that you can consume the products without being cooked. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. This concludes the portion of the event, and I want to introduce Alex, who's going to give us some closing remarks.
Hello, everyone. I'm so thrilled to see all of you in here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm very impressed with the presentation. I want to give special thanks to the advisory board, namely Judy Isaacson, for helping me putting this together. Please stand up. Rachel Wilson. Do we have Eugene and Mark are no longer there? Well, obviously, my partner in crime, Mackey's number 2, if you will, from the words of Popini, Rasi Panana, the president. Well, I can't help by mentioning also my wife in the audience. Thank her for sticking with me. And all the presenters, elected officials, what have you, to come here. I'm especially excited with phenomenons being here. I feel like they were the missing piece for us to turbocharge the growth of our ecosystem. I'm extremely heartened by the collaboration spirit that I see every day within these walls with people basically just sharing their expertise. And something else too, I forgot to mention Sue Hamlin-Dodderland, who unfortunately has left. She was instrumental for us to get in the grant. Moving on, this event could not have run as smoothly as it did without the help from Wheaton College. I'm extremely happy with the partnership. Imran, please stand up. Fidel, I'd like to recognize Fidel, who brings the students here. They infuse the energy the building needs. I feel like the early adopters were kind of like grind nose to the stone, but Wheaton College is instrumental in bringing more of an energy to this place, and I just again want to express thanks to everyone who is here, and hopefully enjoy the event. And I'm here for any questions. We are here, we're not going anywhere, and I look forward to fruitful relationship with every one of you. Thank you. And Stefan, I appreciate the hard work was Stefan, our sound engineer and musician, helping me put it together. Can't have enough thanks to our sponsors, Eppendorf, Chase, then Mass of Sciences, obviously, and Qrox. And again, thanks, and have a good day, afternoon.
Alex, are you still looking for, or have they already been done? So I don't. I think a lot of people saw the facility.
Yeah, I can.
You want to do it?
Yeah. So, anyone that wants a tour, please let me know. I'd be more happy to give you a tour.